Travis Scott is the worst person I worked with in my entire career in music. 8 people are dead and hundreds more are injured after Travis Scott's callous, reckless behavior at Astroworld.
Travis Scott used to be one of the most loved rappers in the game. His concerts were insane, his cult-like fan base worshipped him, and you couldn't escape him as a hip-hop fan. For example, his album Astroworld sold 537,000 units in his first week, he's collabed with McDonald's and Fortnite, and he just grossed $200 million in a single tour. However, behind all those numbers and crazy achievements, there was something much darker behind everyone's favorite artist.
You know, Travis Scott is a giant
Lawsuits, industry manipulation, fans being severely harmed at his shows, and horrible behavior towards his peers. Despite all the success, the hate only kept growing. So how did Travis Scott go from being loved to one of the most hated names in hip-hop? I'm Rashad Bashir, and this is why everybody hates Travis Scott. But before we answer that, let's first talk about how the hate towards Travis was only amplified after a massive bombshell dropped on June 19th of 2025. See, Pusha T, one half of the Clips, and the same guy who handed Drake one of the biggest L's of his career with the story of Adidon, just went after Travis Scott in So Be It, a new song tied to the rollout of the new highly anticipated Clips album. So what did Pusha T say about Travis? Well, to call it scathing would be an understatement. You cried in front of me, you died in front of me, Calabasas took your bitch, and your pride in front of me, her utopia had moved right up the street, and her lip gloss was poppin', she ain't need you to eat. So Pusha didn't just diss Travis, he exposed him. In the track, he claimed Travis broke down in front of him, completely shattered after Kylie Jenner ended things. But he didn't stop there. Push went on to say that someone like Kylie didn't need Travis at all. She was rich enough, powerful enough, and independent enough to walk away from him. But wait, there's more. Pusha later added, but I got the video. I can share an AE, and they wouldn't believe it, but I can't unsee it. Lucky I TMZ it. And of course, threatening to release a video of Travis Scott breaking down is egregious work. But here's the thing, Pusha T wasn't just airing dirty laundry. He was hinting at having something way worse. The way he framed it, he's sitting on incriminating footage of Travis at his lowest, and he's keeping it locked away like a nuclear weapon, ready to drop it if things get messy. Now, you're probably wondering, how do we know that Pusha T was actually talking about Travis, right? Well, Pusha's never been known to beat around the bush.
I don't take it as personal as I should. It's Travis. He's harmless. I'm not into his whole makeup. I took it there.
And according to him, here's the reason why he dropped the bombshell.
All came from actually being in Paris through carrying the Utopia briefcase.
Right. Yep.
Doing his whole spiel. He comes, he interrupts the session. The next day, the meltdown verse or whatever comes on.
So in Pusha T's own words, Travis Scott interrupted a recording session by the Clips and Pharrell Williams to play Utopia. Not so bad, right? However, the worst was yet to come. You see, he excitedly played Utopia in front of them while purposely leaving out Drake's meltdown verse from the cut. He sees me and Malice there. He's like, oh man, everyone's here. He's smiling, laughing, jumping around, doing his monkey dance. We weren't into the music, but he wanted to play it, wanted to film us and Pharrell listening to it. Now, that's a huge problem. He didn't know, when Utopia finally dropped, fans were shocked to hear Meltdown, the same song where Drake went off and took direct shots at Pharrell. Man, fuck all that spin in the narrative shit. I melt down the chains that I bought from your boss. Give a fuck about all that heritage. So he implied that he was the one who bought Pharrell's jewelry when it was put up for auction, even revealing the iconic chain in a music video back in 2023. And to make the situation much worse for Travis, Drake claimed to have melted the chains down, saying he didn't care about the legacy they represented, especially after how Pusha T washed him in Story of Adidon. In their eyes, Travis purposely cut out Drake's verse because he knew that if he played it in front of them, Pharrell and Push were going to do something about it. And honestly, this was definitely a sleazy maneuver by Travis, tiptoeing and playing both sides, pretending like he was cool with Pusha T and Pharrell after knowing that Drake dissed them on Utopia.
It was a corny, you shouldn't have been here anyway. Him specifically too. And then to come back in our fold. He's shameless. He does it, you've seen him do it to everybody. Calabasas took your bitch and your pride in front of me. I had to help you.
But that's not all that Pusha did. He also emasculated Travis and implied that he wasn't a real man because of his tendencies to flip-flop around various relationships.
It is good
to be the lone wolf sometimes. Yeah,
everybody knows.
Yeah, it's no
they
sympathy.
Can see it. Yeah.
That's how you move out here in this world. You know what I'm saying? If you're a man, that's how you. If you're a man,
only if you're a man though. Because if you ain't a man,
you in trouble.
You can't move like this.
He later alluded to Travis saying,
yeah, well, you gotta flip flop and kiss ass and do all the backbiting and.
Right now, Travis is stuck in a lose-lose situation. If he fired back with a weak diss, he got clowned on for falling flat. But if he stayed quiet, he'd get roasted for letting it slide and taking the L with no fight. Either way, he's getting dragged real hard. However, his close associate and fellow Houston native rapper Bun B implied that Travis wasn't gonna let the disrespect slide.
But I don't think he operated in that space. So I think he is willing to just throw caution to the wind and be like, you know what, I don't really with him anyway. And they not lose. They don't. Push is not. You don't see Push at award shows. You don't see him at clubs and parties. Nope. They don't mix like that. They mix with their own. And they pretty good on the streets as well. So it's whatever.
Despite that, he later added,
that being said, Travis ain't about to back down. Travis ain't about to back down. He's from Houston. He got.
So you think Travis coming back? Travis gonna come back with a verse?
I wouldn't be surprised if you hear something before the weekend's done. It's either go into it or act like it didn't happen.
Act like it didn't happen.
But the problem is that the people are going to demand a response.
so lying and saying that Travis Scott is going to go song for song against Pusha is wild. So in response to that, Pusha T had this to say in a separate interview. To me, this is really like, he's a whore. He's a whore. And instead of letting fans rally behind Travis and defending him against Pusha's relentless aggression, they express the same sentiment instead. He has no integrity. It's all about the bag for that guy. But what about the hardcore Travis Scott fans? Surely they'd have their favorite rappers back, right? Well, not exactly. Considering most of them know how lackluster Travis's rapping skills are, Travis makes amazing music, but rapping wise, he'd get bodied by Push. Others even said that after all the shady things Travis has done throughout his career, he deserved to finally be put in check. So at this point, you're probably wondering why Pusha T was riding so hard for Pharrell. See, ever since Clips dropped their first project, Pharrell had always been in their corner. So when Travis let Drake diss Pharrell on Meltdown, it wasn't just a throwaway bar, it was personal. To Pusha, it wasn't just disrespect, it was a declaration of war. To add to that, Pusha T made it clear that he never respected Travis as a rapper.
I just thought it was disrespectful. I'm like, man, you know, we don't even want you here, to be honest. Like, we're not here to hognob with any rappers, and I personally don't like rappers who don't rap.
But despite that, Travis Scott's Utopia was still a commercial and critical success, debuting on the #1 spot on the Billboard charts after selling almost 500,000 units in its first week, while being the fastest rap album to hit 1 billion streams in a decade, which is a crazy accomplishment. However, even with Travis being praised as one of hip-hop's biggest stars, disrespect was just as loud, especially from the likes of Pusha T. The latter even provided an example of how shady Travis was, just like the time when he instigated the great rap beef back in 2024.
He was even instrumental in the whole beef now, to like that verse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Egging that on. I don't want nobody who don't rap to egg nothing on.
That's right, after letting Drake sneak diss Pharrell Williams on Utopia, he made the bold decision to turn on his collaborator, begging Metro Boomin to play the infamous Like That song at Rolling Loud.
Please, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Metro was trying to get out of here like... Alright then. Nah, Metro, you gotta let that shit go right now, bro. Don't be like that. Man. I need that man, I'm off.
Sneaking a diss towards Drake like that is wild. And while others argue that Travis probably didn't know Kendrick Lamar was going to be on the track, that just seems highly unrealistic. And while his quote-unquote friend was getting torn apart from all sides by Kendrick, where was Travis Scott during all of that? Well, he stayed out of the spotlight and played both sides, since he also had ties to Kendrick, with the two collaborating on Goosebumps back in 2016. But it doesn't stop there, because it looks like we aren't getting any new Travis x Drake music anytime soon. See, on January 7th of 2025, Travis appeared alongside Cash XO, one of the co-founders of XO Records, alongside The Weeknd, aka Drake's fellow Canadian op. And to make the relationship even worse, Travis brought out The Weeknd on one of his tours and started glazing him.
This man right here, man, opened up for 2 tours when I need to have like my first album. He gave me my first release tour ever. If it wasn't for this guy right now, I probably wouldn't be on the stage so I just want to say this shit right here, man. Run to my XO brothers, man. I love y'all niggas for life, man.
So far, it seems like Travis isn't really a great friend to his peers. And ironically, his quote-unquote friendship with Drake was also built on top of Travis double-crossing others. And this is where Sci-Hi the Prince comes into the equation. If you didn't know, Sci-Hi is a rapper with close ties to Kanye, even dating back to the early 2000s. From there, he became a prolific ghostwriter, penning some of Kanye's best songs such as Bound 2, Father Stretch My Hands, and plenty more. Given how close Kanye and Travis used to be, it only made sense that Sci-Hi and Travis were also connected, not just through their friendship, but because they were both part of good music right alongside Pusha T. Fun fact, Travis worked as an in-house producer for Kanye's record label back in the day. So Sci-Hi went from writing for Kanye to writing for Travis, helping pen some of Travis Scott's biggest songs like Sicko Mode and Stargazing.
I had a large amount of Sicko Mode. You know what I'm saying? I had a large amount of Sicko Mode.
Now, you think that Travis would treat the person who literally wrote his biggest song with some type of respect, right? So, at first, Travis and his manager convinced Sci-Hi to give up a huge percentage that he was owed for Sicko Mode in exchange for a few Travis Scott features on his upcoming album. From Sci-Hi's perspective, he was sacrificing a huge chunk of money, especially with how massive Sicko Mode was shaping up to be. But he figured it was worth it since the Travis feature he was promised would make all the money back and more. So he signed the deal, gave up a share of the Sicko Mode royalties and publishing, and waited for Travis to deliver his verse.
Can you just take this significant cut? I think it was like a 10% cut. Now, Sicko Mode is diamond, y'all. Imagine losing 10% of Sicko Mode. Imagine it. He gave me a swap for it. He like, man, if you take this percentage, I'll give you a swap and I'll give you a record. Whatever. You think I'm gonna get that record?
But as we all know, that never happened.
I'm calling and all this other shit. Nigga don't want to answer the phone. Don't want to give me my swap.
Y'all don't want to honor the swap. Your label don't want to honor it. All that. Yeah. I'm good on the swap. Cut me my check. These guys know where I stand. They know what they did.
Disrespecting and treating your ghostwriter like that is insane. But wait, there's more. See, Sicko Mode wasn't just any other ordinary Travis Scott hit song. It was also the same record where he allowed Drake to diss Kanye, implying that he was sleeping with Kim Kardashian on the low. And knowing how close Sci-Hi was with Kanye, it became a massive wedge between their relationship.
Sicko Mode was a gift and a curse for me. You know what I'm saying? Because Drake dissed my buddy on the record. Now my buddy kind of like, I feel my buddy keep feeling a certain kind of way with me. I'm like, damn, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn, that kind of fucked up. Now,
Sci-Hi even started to wonder why Travis would allow the Drake verse to be put on the song at all.
I'm looking at Trav like, Trav, why would you let the nigga do that on the song? Now it's like, I gotta take up for some shit Trav did, and I'm taking the backlash from it.
But what really made fans start to believe that Travis Scott wasn't a great person was the infamous Astroworld incident. Back in November of 2021, what was supposed to be a fun show turned into one of the darkest events in music festival history. You see, that night was so catastrophic, it didn't just stain Travis Scott's career, it put his entire legacy on the line. However, before we talk about how everything fell apart, you need to understand just how big Travis Scott was at the time. That year, Travis wasn't just a popular rapper, he was the most influential person in America. Don't believe me? Well, according to a complex survey, when people aged 18 to 34 were asked to name the most influential people in America, Travis Scott topped the list. Not Drake, not LeBron, not even the president, it was Travis Scott. Yeah, I thought this was fake, but it's really real. You see, just to show how powerful his influence was, Travis Scott didn't just sell records, he sold sneakers, fast food meals, video game skins, and even did concerts in Fortnite. And unfortunately, it looks like he should have stuck with those virtual concerts instead. You see, his fan base wasn't just loyal, it was obsessive and extremely passionate, and you can't really compare the intensity of his live shows to any other rapper. On top of that, Travis was infamous for his rowdy concerts. He didn't just love the chaos, he encouraged it.
This is not no motherfucking ballet. This ain't no runway. This ain't no motherfucking dance show. You either get on this stage and rage or take your motherfucking ass home, you understand? Run it!
So when he announced the return of his annual Astroworld festival after the pandemic canceled the 2020 event, fans knew it was going to be massive. Unfortunately, however, the problems began long before anyone even arrived at the venue. And here's the thing about festivals. They have capacity limits for a reason. When a venue is designed, it's built to safely hold just a specific number of people. And unfortunately, once you go past that number, you're basically asking for trouble. But that's not all. Behind the scenes, they had sold way more tickets than the venue could safely handle.
Live Nation got in touch with me. I knew the venue, I knew the event, I knew the politics, and I could quickly make sense of what happened.
According to the crowd safety expert, Scott Davidson, the main stage where Travis would perform was only supposed to hold around 35,000 people. However, over 50,000 tickets were sold.
And believed that there was viewing capacity for just 35,000 concert goers at the main stage, which would mean they planned for many thousands more people than could safely view Travis's performance.
That number alone was a massive red flag. On top of that, text messages later surfaced showing conversations between members feeling really worried about what's going to happen.
We can actually see text messages between key members of this management team expressing 50,000 people are not going to fit here.
So all of the early warning signs were there. However, instead of trying to actually fix it, they just hoped for the best. Additionally, for an event of this size, you'd expect that a small army of properly trained guards would be at the gate. However, that wasn't the case. A security guard named Jackson Bush later spoke out about what went down. According to him,
and this all happening like literally 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, the day before the concert.
Jackson also claimed that the only instructions they got came from other random people who had apparently worked events before. But I mean, that should be fine as long as they underwent some sort of training, right? Well, that didn't even happen.
The only instructions that we had came from other workers that was working with us. And they were like, hey, they gonna rush the gates, so y'all be ready.
So anyways, the festival took place in Travis's hometown, Houston, Texas. The venue was set up with carnival rides, a Ferris wheel, and a stacked lineup of some of the biggest names in rap, like SZA, who's not a rapper, 21 Savage, Lil Baby, Young Thug, and more. However, from the moment the gates opened that afternoon, things already felt off. Fans who didn't have tickets stormed the venue, breaking down fences and overwhelming security. Hundreds, even thousands, rushed inside without passes. But you know what? That's not even the craziest part. You see, Travis's team reportedly knew this was going to happen. In fact, they even told their photographers to lean into the chaos.
We were instructed to lean into the fans and the chaos. The promo video that they put out showed footage from 2019 of the fans breaking down the fences to get in.
But this time, it escalated way beyond some rowdy fans sneaking in.
And to compound that, the moment they lost control of the gates, there's now an unknown number of people at the festival.
With so many extra people inside, the venue was packed like sardines. Fans squeezing together, fighting for a spot near the stage hours before Travis even came on. And by 8:45 p.m., the crowd was already restless. Thousands of fans packed shoulder to shoulder, barely able to move, but nobody cared. For fans, the pandemic was finally over, and they were finally able to get the chance to see their favorite artist live. And right on cue, Travis took the stage.
Let's go!
And in the first few minutes, it looked like everything was fine. Unfortunately though, what the cameras didn't show was the nightmare that was happening in the crowd. You see, during all the commotion, people were already struggling. Some couldn't breathe, others were fainting, unable to escape the crushing weight of the crowd.
Breathing right, so I had to look up, be like trying to calm my breathing down. It was a nightmare. That's the best way I could put it.
Fans tried to scream for help, to wave down security, but the music drowned out everything, and Travis kept the show going.
It almost made me feel like I was going crazy, like it wasn't actually happening, because surely they would stop the show. If it was as bad as it looked, they would stop the show, right?
However, even before Travis Scott hit the stage, fans were already showing signs of distress. At around 9 p.m., just 2 minutes before his set started, text messages were reportedly sent to Live Nation executives warning them about the dangerous crowd conditions. But guess what they did? Nothing. Houston police officers at the scene recognized the severity of the situation by 9:30 p.m.
They were looking for the manager from Live Nation, trying to locate him and to either end the concert or delay the concert, and they could not find him.
Apparently, only 2 people had the authority to shut down the festival, and neither of them was reachable. So the concert kept going, and the chaos only got worse. On the other hand, another major problem was the design of Astroworld itself.
I was shocked at how big the festival had grown. There was a whole stage dedicated to just Travis. It wasn't going to be used all day.
In 2021, the festival expanded to a 2-day event with 2 stages, one for the other performers and one reserved exclusively for Travis Scott. But here's the issue. Travis' stage stayed empty all day. Just hours later, everyone at the festival started walking or running towards that one stage. So by the time Travis was scheduled to perform, pretty much all 50,000 people were packed in front of it. And to make things worse, there was only one major access point on the left side of the stage.
Its configuration created a trap on the left-hand side of the stage. And so the compression just built and built where people could not escape.
They had no clear signs, didn't even put effort to spread the fans out, and they barely had any security to manage it.
It became overwhelming real fast. And I remember thinking to myself, what the hell is going on?
You see, even the security guards were confused, and sadly, according to reports, all 10 people who died that night were in the same overcrowded area. So, with no action from security, police, or the event organizers, fans in the crowd tried to just help themselves.
Breathing right, so I had to look up, be like trying to calm my breathing down. It was a nightmare. That's the best way I could put it.
One attendee, Aiden Cruz, managed to escape the crush and climbed up onto the cameraman's platform, frantically yelling for the show to stop. And just to show how chaotic this event was, fans even started booing Aiden for just trying to stop the show. You see, a lot of fans were actually oblivious to what was going on.
I feel like I'm helpless because I knew Bree was in that area still struggling.
However, luckily, another young woman decided to step up and plead for help.
That's okay with you real quick. Face me this door.
Unfortunately though, their efforts were still ignored, and Travis just kept on performing. In one fan video, you could clearly hear the sound of panic and fans shouting for help.
See somebody in the tree, turn the lights on. Turn the lights on, turn the lights on.
And in another disturbing video, you can clearly see Travis Scott singing while security was carrying on what would be an unconscious person, or worse, a body. At around 9:42 p.m., the situation seemed like it was finally getting addressed. Travis noticed someone in the crowd passed out and paused his set, telling the crowd,
"We need somebody to help him. Somebody passed out right here. Somebody passed out right here. Hold on, don't touch him, don't touch him. Everybody just back up. Security, somebody help, jump in real quick, keep going, just keep."
And for a few seconds, the venue went quiet, and people started chanting for the show to be stopped. However, as soon as the unconscious person was carried out, Travis picked the mic up and kept going. According to reports, a venue manager even attempted to have an audio engineer communicate the severity of the situation to Travis. One message allegedly read,
"It is very, very bad. There are more crush victims than I've ever seen in my 25-year career."
However, nobody knows if that message ever reached him. Instead, the concert continued. And to make things even worse, police reportedly extended the concert's runtime, allowing Drake to come on stage for a surprise appearance. When the concert finally ended around midnight, nobody knew the full extent of what had happened, but people who were there started posting their experiences on social media, and what they described was straight up hell.
In the VIP section, it was so many bodies laid out. People was getting pulled out who was fainted. People were trying, the medics were trying to give them CPR, and they was flipping them over, and like they was literally turning black and blue. I never seen death in my life, bro. Just by me alone, it was probably like 10 people laid out dead.
Multiple attendees posted TikToks and Instagram stories describing a scene where people are watching others collapse around them.
I've never experienced anything like that in my entire life. Probably because I've never been surrounded by so many lifeless bodies.
Sadly, this sparked theories that led to further misinformation. Over 300 people were injured, and 10 people didn't make it, with the youngest being a 14-year-old boy. So the question now was, what was Travis Scott going to do about all this? Well, in response, Travis posted an apology video on Instagram. Sitting in black and white, he rubbed his face, looking distressed, and said,
"I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time."
He added that he tried his best to stop the shows when someone needed help.
And anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need, I could just never imagine the severity of the situation.
But unfortunately, that wasn't what people saw that night. He added that he and his team had been working closely with authorities to determine the actual cause of the incident. However, as Scott Davidson pointed out, there's no one to blame but him and his team due to their reckless planning and disregard for most of the warnings. Unfortunately for Travis, this apology didn't sit well with fans. They accused him of focusing more on damage control than actually addressing the horror of what unfolded at his own concert. This is a video of a liar trying to act. Stop rubbing your face. Open your eyes. Stop lying. Take responsibility. F Travis Scott. Sadly, up to this day, nobody's been punished for the massive nightmare that happened that night. After a nearly 2-year investigation, a grand jury declined to indict Travis Scott or anyone else on criminal charges. But fans didn't share the same sentiment. Hashtags like "cancel Travis Scott" and "Astroworld was held" trended for days, and many demanded jail time. So, Travis's reputation suffered a severe blow. He faced multiple lawsuits from victims and families, many of which were quietly settled out of court, and on top of that, many of his sponsorships became rocky, and other artists started distancing themselves from him. But if you thought the chaos at Astroworld was the peak of bad decisions that night, unfortunately, you'd be wrong. You see, as fans scrambled, families called hospitals, and the city of Houston declared a mass casualty event. Travis Scott was headed somewhere else, and no, not to a press conference, not even to check on the victims, but instead, he made his way to a party. You see, right after his Astroworld set, Travis didn't go back to his hotel or call his team for updates. Instead, he hit up an after party at Dave & Buster's of all places. TMZ later reported that Travis was allegedly unaware of the deaths and chaos that happened during his own show when he arrived at the party. And this is where the internet lost it, because fans and critics alike were asking the same thing. How could Travis not know? If you're Travis Scott and you're seeing multiple ambulances on the scene, security panicking, and the fact that fans are chanting "stop the show," how could you not know? However, as we dive deeper into Travis's history, things start to get even weirder. You see, this wasn't Travis Scott's first time dealing with dangerous crowd situations. And as we all know, his entire career was built around this chaotic and rebellious energy. By the time Astroworld 2021 rolled around, people were already expecting chaos. Fans knew how Travis's sets operated, and his team knew the risks. The difference was that this time, it was happening at his own festival, where he had even more control and more responsibility. However, one of the earliest and arguably the most overlooked incidents in his career happened back in 2015. At this point, Travis was still considered an up-and-coming artist. Fresh out the success of his debut album Rodeo, Travis was booked to perform at Lollapalooza in Chicago. Now, if you've ever been to a big festival like this, you already know the kind of security they have in place. They're fully equipped with barriers, and security teams are present everywhere. And that's just essential for the safety of the crowd and the artists, in case some fans started to get rowdy. Unfortunately though, Travis wasn't having any of it. Just 2 minutes into his set, he stopped the music and began hyping up the crowd, telling them, "We want race! We want race!" He yelled out, "Everyone in a green shirt, get the f back." Now, that was wild, since he was referring to security guards who were just doing their job.
Stop touching these Rangers, man! Don't touch them!
Almost immediately, chaos broke out as fans stormed the stage, jumping fences and pushing past security. And Travis eventually realized that he had made a huge mistake. Within minutes, festival organizers and security had to cut his set short.
They gonna stop the show if y'all don't get down, man. I want to finish performing. So listen, get down, just get down. We can start over, everybody just get down.
And just like that, he was escorted off stage and arrested for disorderly conduct. He pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct and had to pay a $7,000 fine. In hindsight, Travis was lucky that no one ended up dead during his set. However, it was reported that a 15-year-old girl was trampled in the stampede. And that arrest that night should have been a big lesson for Travis on how he conducted himself at his shows. Sadly though, this wasn't just a rookie mistake. You see, Travis knew exactly what he was doing, and he didn't stop there. 2 years later, during a show in Arkansas, it happened again. In May of 2017, Travis Scott was performing, and that night was no different. According to Chicago's Office of Emergency Management, Travis Scott repeatedly urged the crowd to rush past security, stating the performer played one song and then began telling fans to come over the barricades. Luckily for him, only a few of the fans were hurt. However, one security guard was allegedly crushed and one police officer was injured during all the chaos. After the show ended, Travis didn't even get a chance to leave the venue. He was arrested right there at the Walmart A&P and charged with inciting a riot, endangering the welfare of a minor, and disorderly conduct. Fortunately, Travis was released later that night without bail. However, he wasn't totally out of the woods just yet. You see, in January of 2018, Travis pled guilty to disorderly conduct as a part of a plea deal. According to his attorney, Doug Norwood, Travis might have pled guilty, but his 2 misdemeanor charges were dismissed, stating they overcharged him. They tried to get him for inciting a riot. This video didn't show any of that. One fan's life changed for the worse. During that time, Travis Scott was absolutely popping off. The venue was packed, the crowd was wild, and as usual, Travis was hyping the audience up to lose their minds. However, here's where it gets crazy. During the show, Travis saw a fan dangling from the second floor balcony. So what did Travis do? Of course, he encouraged him to jump down. Nothing new, just jump off. What could possibly go wrong? In a video, you can clearly hear Travis saying,
"I see you, bro. You gonna do it? Give me 18 real quick. I see you, but are you gonna do it?" I ain't gonna lie. Turn the lights on. Turn the lights on. They gonna catch you. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. 4, 4, yeah.
But unlike that fan who was very willing to jump off, Kyle Green, who was only 23 years old at the time, claimed that he was shoved off a 3rd floor balcony by the crowd. He fell, landing on the floor below, and suffered a fractured vertebrae, a broken left wrist, and a fractured right ankle. In an interview, he stated, "I fell and hit the floor. Before I knew it, I was surrounded by security guards who scooped me up. They didn't put a backboard or a neck brace on me or anything. They just kind of lifted me up and pulled me around. Then they dropped me in front of the stage." Unfortunately, what the guards didn't know was as they were carrying him out, he was already paralyzed. So what did Travis do? Well, instead of stopping the show, he decided to give the paralyzed fan a consolation prize.
Hold on, get ready. Check this ring. Check this ring right here. Check this ring. Come here. Come here. Check this ring. Hey, pick him up. Pick his ass up. Give him this ring. I gotta put this ring on him. Pick him up, man.
Well, put this ring on his finger, bro. Put this ring on his finger.
Kyle Green ultimately sued Travis Scott, his manager, the concert promoter, and the security company for negligence, carelessness, and recklessness. I guess those rings were enough to keep him quiet. I mean, what did Travis expect? Give him a few rings and all was forgiven? Unfortunately for Kyle, as of mid-2021, the case is still pending in New York State Supreme Court. So when the news broke out about the Astroworld Festival tragedy, considering Travis's concert history, it wasn't actually that much of a surprise. But poor behavior to his fans and negligence isn't the only reason many fans don't like him or even hate him. The other is that the many beefs he's gotten into with other rappers and relationship drama that's ensued. For example, the time when he and Tory Lanez got into it in 2016. It all started when Tory Lanez and Meek Mill teamed up on a track called Liddy off one of Meek Mill's projects. The song itself was solid, but fans couldn't help noticing that something was off. Tory's flow and heavy autotune sounded eerily similar to Travis, and the comparison spread fast. And suddenly, people were calling Tory a Travis clone. Tory sounds a lot like Travis Scott on this. In response, Tory outed Travis and implied that he wrote a few songs for him. I can't sound like somebody I wrote for, but that wasn't all. Tory doubled down and added, I do a lot of writing and sometimes people don't know how much writing I do. I did the latest for Travis Scott and T.I., the brand new Choppa shit, I wrote that, referencing the 2014 Travis Scott, T.I. and Meek song that he allegedly wrote. However, little did Tory know, Travis felt some type of way about what he said behind the scenes. After all, having a ghostwriter in hip-hop gives you a bad reputation. So what did Travis do? Well, in a festival in San Antonio back in 2016, Travis thought it'd be wise to address Tory man to man, which led to this infamous clip.
I said I sound like something, my nigga. I said what I said. If you felt the way and you want to handle it the way you want to handle it, that's why we're here right now. So I'm saying, what do you want to do, bro? No. Are we apologizing, or you want to shoot the fake? I'm just trying.
While Tory Lanez desperately begged Travis for a one-on-one fight, you can clearly hear Travis immediately brush it off, saying he wasn't here for that type of smoke.
Everybody can get out of here. Every single person can get out of here. Literally every person can get out of here, and we can shoot the fake. And we can just get out. Everybody just get out of here, my nigga. Let's just shoot the fake. It seems like you're just trying to.
Once the video got leaked, fans clowned on Travis for ducking the fade against someone a foot shorter than him. Tory later addressed the situation in an interview with Joe Budden.
Where do y'all stand? I'm cool with the nigga. I mean, I don't know how that video actually ended up getting leaked, because from where the camera was, that's like where his homies were standing at when the whole situation was going down.
And it wasn't just the fans. Even people like DJ Academics made fun of Travis for the video clip.
I'm not gonna lie, clearly somebody from Tory Lanez can't leak this, because this don't make Travis Scott look no type of good. Travis Scott out here looking like, I get them goosebumps every time Tory come around. Basically, man, it's not a good look for Travis. Not a good look for Travis at all, okay?
But still, after his beef with Tory concluded, Travis was still on top of the world. After all, he just released Astroworld in 2018 to massive success. The lead single, Sicko Mode, also reached the same heights as it became the first hip-hop song to spend over 30 weeks in the top 10 spot of the Billboard charts at the time. So you'd think that despite this minor blip, over time, Travis would gain more respect as his career progressed. However, that wasn't exactly what happened. See, one of the rappers who has always been compared to Travis is none other than A$AP Rocky. Although the two have never had much of a relationship before, especially after Travis got annoyed when fans kept on calling him ASAP. Just this year, news about their silent beef came to light when A$AP Rocky performed the snippet in one of his performances. A lot of people online started speculating that these bars were a dig at Travis Scott, especially given how the style part fit Travis like a glove.
2014 Travis Supreme Days. 2014 track Sweatpants and Vans. 2016 Trav kills the black van. 2014 black pants Jordan 4s. 2016 Travis's favorite shoe is the Jordan 4. 2015 Rocky's patent flannel and tee look. 2017 Travis beat this into the ground. 2017 vintage style tee cargo pants. 2019 you could not get Travis out of this outfit.
But here's the thing, Rocky wasn't angry at all about Travis jacking his whole style. In fact, he even felt flattered when Nori brought it up in an interview.
Travis Scott stole his whole style.
Yeah.
From A$AP Rocky.
Yeah. He's trying to figure out how to ask this question.
Thank you for reading my mind. Thank you for reading my mind. Is that something that you entertain?
Nah, you can't feed into petty shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Rocky felt like Travis was clearly inspired by his fashion and that he had to be doing something wrong if other rappers weren't trying to copy his fits.
Like, at this point, that shit's trash at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
But did you feel like that at one point?
I mean, I saw similarities for sure. Right. You know, I saw that he was inspired and shit like that, but that's what we in it for.
Yeah.
Like, that's good sportsmanship.
Right.
I put it to you like this, like, if niggas
Wasn't like biting off, imitation best form of flattery. People wasn't trying to imitate you. You're doing something wrong.
However, what about the other parts in the lyrics? Well, Travis and Rihanna did have a brief dating stint back in 2015 to 2016. Although nothing was confirmed, the two were rumored to be dating. So Rocky's lyrics about quote-unquote stealing Travis's girl was definitely true. Still, that should have been the end of their beef, right? After all, Travis did shout A$AP Rocky out back when he was facing legal issues in Sweden.
Breaking developments involving American rapper A$AP Rocky. This morning, he was officially charged with assault in Sweden, where he's been held in custody for 3 weeks now.
When the tragic news broke, Travis did this while performing on stage.
Let's do it, man. Free Rocky, man. You know what time it is. Yes, sir. Free Rocky, man.
So you wouldn't be mistaken to think that the two were cool, but behind the scenes, there was another story. It wasn't just the lyrics to Rocky's new snippets that added fuel to the fire. You see, Ian Connor came out to a wild barrage of tweets with some pretty harrowing evidence that the two didn't see eye to eye. Nah, Trav not hearing that because he powered up now. Nasta and Rocky calling themselves bullying that man when he was still coming up, and he never forgot, as he shouldn't, and now he got the last laugh, career and money-wise, but he plays it cordial, but he looks down on them guys. True enough, Travis Scott has long eclipsed A$AP Rocky when it comes to popularity and commercial success. Regardless, A$AP Rocky is much more likable than Travis Scott, and not being cool with them didn't exactly help his popularity. But still, not even the A$AP Rocky comparison was enough to derail Travis Scott's success. In 2016, Travis dropped Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight, an album that would mark his first major chart victory. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and sold over 88,000 units in its first week. Songs like Goosebumps and Pick Up the Phone became instant trap classics, and at that point, there was no denying that Travis Scott was one of hip-hop's next superstars. But it wasn't until August of 2018 that Travis truly changed the game with Astroworld. The album exploded onto the scene, selling a staggering 537,000 copies in its first week, marking his second #1 debut on the Billboard 200. However, that massive success also came with controversy. In the same week Astroworld claimed the top spot, Nicki Minaj's Queen debuted at #2, and Nicki Minaj didn't appreciate that.
I felt like I wanted to punch him in his face.
Now, on paper, both projects did solid numbers, but when it came to the Billboard 200 charts, only one of them could claim that #1 spot, and it wasn't Nicki. To be clear, Queen didn't do bad numbers. It actually sold 185,000 units in its first week, with about 78,000 of those being pure album sales. So that's not exactly a flop, especially by today's standards. So what was Nicki so pressed about? You see, Nicki Minaj claimed that the only reason Astroworld was #1 was because Travis had used his merchandise bundles to boost his album sales.
No, it's not anger. It's just what's right and what's wrong, what's fair. I've had a #2 album and I never cared. It's just that when you have a #2 album to someone who's selling shirts and merch and selling passes for a tour that's not even announced yet, it feels like you're being tricked.
She also ranted multiple times on Twitter, writing, "I put my blood, sweat, and tears into writing a dope album only for Travis Scott to have Kylie Jenner post a tour pass telling people to come see her in Stormy. Lol, I'm actually laughing." #Queen broke the record of being #1 in 86 countries. Thank Jesus and thank you to my fans. But it wasn't enough. Nicki continued to bash Travis on a radio show.
Whole of the week, of course, is Travis Scott. Woo!
Here, she also pointed at Kylie Jenner during the mess.
His label decided to have Kylie and baby Stormy put up a tour pass. He had her go and post and say, "Hey, me and Stormy can't wait to see y'all."
She added that Travis's tactics were unfair and it forced her to speak up.
What we not gonna do is have this auto-tune man coming up here selling sweaters and telling y'all he sold 500,000 albums, because he didn't. And it's a lot of rappers behind the scene that want to talk about it and they're scared. But sweetheart, I'm not scared. I'm legendary in these streets.
As for Travis though, he didn't really offer any direct response to Nicki's criticism. However, things got even more awkward when all three of them showed up at the 2018 MTV VMAs. Originally, Travis and Kylie Jenner were supposed to be seated directly behind Nicki Minaj, but after the controversy blew up, MTV made a last-minute decision to move their seats to avoid any possible confrontation on live TV. However, even before the show, things had already gone weird outside the venue. You see, as Nicki was making her entrance, Kylie Jenner swerved out of Nicki's lane just to avoid crossing paths with her. While Nicki was beefing with them over chart positions, behind the scenes, Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner's relationship was already messy on its own, and what happened next would only add to Travis's list of growing controversies. In 2017, Hollywood was abuzz with messy, toxic celebrity relationships. However, one of the strongest and most drama-filled relationships was that between Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott. And when you really peel back the layers, it was Travis Scott who constantly fueled the chaos. So how did it all unfold, and how did Travis Scott manage to fumble one of the most high-profile relationships? Well, let me tell you this, things were already shady from the start. You see, way before Kylie Jenner linked up with Travis Scott, she was famously on and off with rapper Tyga for years. However, this relationship had already been controversial since Kylie Jenner was a teenager at the time, while Tyga was a grown man. But by April of 2017, they officially called it quits, and almost instantly, Kylie was spotted cozying up to Travis Scott at Coachella. Now, people immediately raised their eyebrows as the timing seemed a little too perfect. Insiders claimed Kylie was trying to make Tyga jealous, and while nobody could confirm if it was an overlap, the fact that she moved on within days spoke volumes. And you know what? Even Travis himself didn't seem entirely sure how they first met up.
Where did we first meet? We still don't know this answer.
It's a lot of link-ups. Well, we kind of first...
We always knew each other, like we were hanging around each other.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had mutual friends.
Their story was awkward, hazy, and sadly, completely unromantic, which was unusual considering they were about to become one of the most talked about couples at the time. By summer of 2017, the two were already moving way too fast. They were spotted with matching rings and even matching butterfly tattoos. And if that isn't a red flag, I don't know what is. However, the two just didn't care. In fact, it felt like their honeymoon stage was so intense that Kylie Jenner got pregnant barely 2 months into the relationship. But instead of embracing it publicly, they decided to keep the entire pregnancy a secret. According to Kylie Jenner, "I'm sorry for keeping you in the dark through all the assumptions. I understand you're used to me bringing you along on all my journeys. My pregnancy was one I chose not to do in front of the world."
You're gonna have your little girl you get to meet.
And to be honest, in hindsight, this was probably just a move to avoid criticism since the relationship was already messy behind the scenes. But when Kylie Jenner finally announced the birth of Stormi in early 2018 through a heavily produced YouTube video, the internet exploded.
When you're 20 years old, you're just figuring out your life. You don't know what you want. You're an indecisive teenager and you're just becoming a young adult. And there was one thing that your mom knew for sure, and that was you.
Unfortunately, it also sparked endless rumors, including questions about who the real baby daddy was. You see, here's when things really started to get ugly. Some fans swore the baby looked more like Kylie's former bodyguard, Tim Chung, than Travis Scott. And while that theory spiraled out of control online, Tim had to publicly shut down the rumors. He issued a statement saying, "Out of deep respect for Kylie, Travis, and their daughter, my only interactions with them have been strictly professional." Sadly though, the speculations didn't end there. In fact, fans even suspected that Tyga could be the real father. But Tyga, once again, wanted no part of that mess, writing, "I've never said anything about someone else's child or family insinuating my involvement, and will never do so." On the other hand, Kylie Jenner and Travis decided to stay quiet and lay low for a while, as the constant rumors and speculation put insane pressure on them. The thing is, this was only the beginning. For a while, Kylie and Travis tried to play the happy couple. Kylie went all out for Travis's birthday, renting out the entire Six Flags for him and their friends.
When Kylie just rents out Six Flags for the night. I'm not going on Superman, but I will go on the Riddler right here.
And to top things off, the couple also made an appearance at the 2018 Met Gala, with Travis even leaning in for a kiss. Unfortunately though, what fans didn't know was that this was all a facade. Behind the scenes, things were already falling apart. You see, just months after being cute and loving at the Met Gala, reports surfaced that Travis canceled a concert last minute, not because of a health issue, but because there was drama in his household. Travis firmly denied the accusations and stated that the only reason he wasn't going to make the show was because he was sick, but according to reports, Travis was too busy trying to fix his relationship with Kylie Jenner. According to TMZ, Travis postponed his Astroworld concert in Buffalo because Kylie accused him of cheating and he was forced to stay in LA to deal with it. And although Travis Scott denied everything, it was clear that their relationship hit a major speed bump. You see, by 2019, Kylie Jenner and Travis Scott's sources confirmed that the two decided to temporarily split. According to a source close to Kylie, they're taking some time but not yet done. They still have some trust issues, but their problems have stemmed more from the stress of their lifestyles. However, they reportedly still love hanging out and were committed to co-parenting their child. But it didn't take long for more drama to creep in. Just days after their split, Kylie Jenner was allegedly spotted at her ex, Tyga's studio at 2 a.m., which, come on, we all know what that means. According to Kylie though, the internet makes everything 100 times more dramatic than what it really is. There was no 2 a.m. date with Tyga. You see me drop 2 of my friends off at a studio that he happened to be at. And whether or not this was true, it didn't sit well with Travis. See, when rumors spread that Kylie Jenner had already moved on, Travis wasn't happy about it and reportedly wanted her back. And in no time, they did that. Similarly to the first time they got together, the two couldn't keep their hands off each other, as by September 2021, Kylie confirmed that she was once again pregnant. However, this time, she didn't wait months before telling the world.
Honestly, you're days away, a couple of days away from a heartbeat.
So just like that, everything seemed perfect again. However, unfortunately, this was around the time the Astroworld incident transpired. And with that kind of a massive tragedy, suddenly, Kylie and the entire Kardashian family started quietly distancing themselves from it. Footage revealed that Kylie and Kendall were both backstage at the time of the accident, But in the family's new Hulu reality show, The Kardashians completely edited out anything Travis or Astroworld related, including Kylie's pregnancy. And after that, Travis had no choice but to lay low for a while. However, the two were still expecting a baby, and in February of 2022, Kylie gave birth to their son. Unfortunately, right after that, sources claimed that the two were back in really good terms. Unfortunately though, not everyone was happy about the spark in their new relationship. You see, the Astroworld disaster wasn't the only source of tension. In fact, it was reported that Kris Jenner had been beefing with Travis for months, long before the tragedy. On top of that, there was even drama during Kylie's labor, because when Kylie gave birth to their son, it was peak pandemic and the hospitals had COVID restrictions, meaning that she could only have one support person in the delivery room.
Kylie went into labor. It was such an exciting night, and no matter how many times you've been through this, it's still a scramble.
Kris demanded to be there instead of Travis, which caused a massive fight. According to reports, Kris felt that Travis wasn't fit for the job. And honestly, based on everything that happened at the time, it wasn't hard to blame her.
Should we bring a bottle of wine?
No.
Champagne?
No.
Why?
Okay, I'll grab champagne.
Okay. Why wouldn't we have champagne? It's a celebration, babe. We're having kids.
Okay.
On the other hand, Travis Scott wasn't having it. To him, Kris was only doing this for the Kardashians' reality TV show. However, Kylie reportedly wanted Travis to be with her during the process. But unfortunately, Kris had too much power. See, she was the type of person who wanted to be in control of anything, and in the end, she got what she wanted. And while that might have been the end of his problems with Kris, the couple would encounter another setback by the end of 2022. However, this issue had been lingering for years already. You see, hell broke loose when an influencer named Young Sweet Roe stepped up with claims that she'd been Travis's side chick. But what made the situation even messier was the fact that the two had known each other long before Kylie even entered the picture. In fact, their connection supposedly started in 2013 when a photo surfaced online of a woman believed to be Young Sweet Roe hugging a man many fans claim was Travis. Now, to be fair, some have argued that that man wasn't him because of a missing neck tattoo. However, as the years have passed, multiple photos surfaced on social media showing the two at the same spot, almost always at the same time. In 2016, Roe posted a picture of herself with flowers, caption, "Still hate you though." And literally the next day, Travis posted a message that said, "Love you too." However, by 2017, the two were frequently spotted at the same places, including Coachella, which gave the rumors serious momentum. And here's where it gets messy. You see, when Travis started dating Kylie, it didn't mean he cut ties with Roe. In fact, only months later, the two were photographed in the same studio, raising even more eyebrows. And it didn't stop there. Right after Kylie gave birth to Stormy, Travis went on a ski trip. And guess who was there as well? So it didn't take long for fans to connect the dots. However, some fans speculated that Young Sweet Roe could have been recycling her photos from the past, meaning that many fans thought she was just trying to mess up their relationship for clout. But that didn't really sit right with her.
I'm not sad that people think I'm with it. I'm sad that this man is completely lying on me and you guys are giving him the attention that he wants. That's what I'm upset about.
So who's really telling the truth here? Was Travis really two-timing Kylie? Well, remember the cheating rumors back in 2019, which Travis denied? One of the biggest clues came when Roe posted a screenshot showing that Kylie had blocked her on Instagram, writing, "How many times a day do you block and unblock me, girl?" But you know what? She didn't stop there. The following month, she uploaded a photo of herself holding an expensive watch with the caption, "Tell your baby daddy I said thanks." And if you still think that she's not pertaining to Kylie, well, the very next day, Kylie posted a photo of a watch face on her Instagram story, writing, "Babe with the spontaneous gifts at Travis Scott." And yet, despite all this drama, Travis and Kylie still stayed together. Just a week later, Kylie even threw a massive birthday party for Travis. However, you'll never guess who was at that party. Surprisingly, fans speculated that young Roe might have been at that party that night. Of course, Travis kept denying any involvement. He even claimed he didn't know her and that he'd never been around her at all. But by October of 2019, Travis and Kylie had officially called it quits, and many people believe that Roe was one of the reasons why. Both Travis and Roe denied it, with Travis writing on Instagram, "It's really affecting when you see false things about you once again. These false stories about me cheating are simply not true. Focusing on life, music, and family at this moment is what's real." However, young Roe would once again stir up drama when she stated, "I wish the truth would just reveal itself." So for a while, things went quiet. Travis and Kylie got back together, and Roe continued growing her Instagram following, posting luxury outfits and swimwear photos. However, in October of 2022, the rumors resurfaced again. Roe posted a photo caption, "Tell her to be me for Halloween since she wants you to love her so bad." Of course, social media automatically assumed this was about Travis and Kylie. And to make things even worse for Travis, young Roe shared a video from the set of a mystery project where Travis could be seen walking around in the background. But this time, Travis tried to stay ahead of the curve and deny it once more, claiming he had no idea who she was. It's a lot of weird shit going on. An uninvited person was sneaking photos of what was supposed to be a closed set while I was directing a video. I'm saying this for the last time. I don't know this person. I've never been with this person, so please stop with the continuous cyber games and fictional storytelling. However, at this point, after years of hints, no one believed him anymore. And even worse, this statement by Travis really triggered young Ro. You see, that same week, Ro hopped on Instagram and finally let loose.
Okay, so what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna lie on me, because I've been good. I posted whatever story you guys wanted me to post. I pretended I didn't know you, went along with whatever narrative you guys wanted to, no matter how much I got from it.
And just with the thought of him even denying he knew her, young Ro finally had enough.
But to say you don't know me and you've never been with me, when you've definitely been with me, when everybody's seen you with me, when I have pictures and videos of you with me.
On top of that, she even rebutted Travis's claims that she was uninvited to the shoot, stating,
Come on, sir. And I was invited to that video shoot, you guys. I personally do not go anywhere unless I'm in.
But that wasn't all. Ro went on a full rant online, saying,
I saw you, I ran out the door, and you had every single girl I know blowing me up like Trav's asking for you to come back. Are we pretending that didn't happen too? Like, come on. You cheat on that every single night. The whole city sees it. Don't do this.
See, even though there had been hints about the two over the past few years, this was the first time she had openly admitted her relationship with him, and it wasn't a good look for Travis. After the whole cheating scandal, it was clear that the Travis and Kylie era was over, and this time for good. According to a close source of the couple, Travis and Kylie had very different priorities at the time. Kylie was focused on being a mom, while Travis, on the other hand, well, he still wanted to party. So by mid-2023, TMZ reported that Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner were officially done for good, and would only be co-parenting their two kids, Stormi and their son. The kids lived full-time with Kylie, while Travis saw them occasionally, and what made this breakup feel more final than their previous splits was Kylie moving on, and not just with anyone, but with Timothee Chalamet. However, instead of congratulating her or being happy for her, Travis went the opposite route. In fact, he'd even throw subtle shots in his song Meltdown, rapping chocolate AP and the chocolate V's, got the Willy Wonka factory, burn an athlete like it's calories, find another flame as hot as me. And if you didn't catch that bar, many fans believe that it was a reference to Timothee's role as Willy Wonka. Unfortunately for Travis, this did little to no damage to the new couple, as they were often seen having the time of their lives. Sadly though, since breaking up with Kylie, Travis Scott just kept on taking L after L. Just last year in 2024, he got into another fight with Tyga. For context, Tyga and Travis Scott were both invited to an after party during the Cannes Film Festival in France, hosted by nightlife mogul Richie Akiva. At first, everything seemed to be going smoothly, but once Richie began introducing the celebrity guests, that's when things took a wild turn. See, he first introduced Tyga and his manager AE, yes, the same AE that pushed a reference in his So Be It verse. Richie proudly said, "We got T-Raw and AE in the house," and after introducing the two, he then announced Travis's presence. But in Travis Scott's eyes, he hated how Tyga was introduced first, so he snatched the mic from his hand for some reason. Yeah, there's no defending Travis here. Even AE tried to argue with him, telling him to let Richie be Richie, let him show love. However, Travis wasn't having it, further escalating the tension between his entourage and Tyga's until it turned out into an all-out brawl. Although the clip's quality is too awful to know exactly who won the fight, AE later implied that they mopped the floor with Travis.
Any message to Travis and Scout? Nah. They got the message. That's right. But South, hey, and Southside you do music with? Yeah. Hey, listen, it's just being, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, you know, that is, it's a healthy fade, you know what I'm saying?
So time and time again, Travis instigated fights, which he eventually lost. But still, his name was popping up all over the world as he became a hip-hop superstar. However, as we keep going deeper into his story, his success is built up on a disturbing amount of wild allegations, rumors, and beefs. And not just with other rappers, but with individuals behind the scenes as well. Take for example that time when his past manager exposed him for how horrible he treated him, which almost led to something more fatal. For some context, his ex-manager was a man who goes by the name Shane Morris, who was a tech-savvy individual with connections in the music industry.
Started working with Travis Scott. He didn't have a lot of people around him that would really help him advance as a musician. I surrounded Travis with people in my social circle, and at that time my social circle was a lot of people who were multi-platinum producers, singers, songwriters, guitar players, etc. in their own right.
Obviously, this wasn't going to bode well for Shane, because how Travis repaid him for everything that he did to advance his career is truly sickening. For some context, with the help of Shane, Travis landed a meeting with Atlanta rapper T.I., and in an attempt to show T.I. that he was a talented artist, he was caught trying to steal some beats from other producers, copying them to to a USB.
Had a meeting with T.I., right? And so he tried to get the bounce from T.I., and I caught him trying to put it on the thumb drive so he could take it and claim it as his own. And I said, hey, my guy, you need to credit these 3 other people you worked with. That isn't just your song, you had help.
And according to his ex-manager, this wasn't the first time Travis stole other people's beats and claimed it as his own.
He also did this to Wonder Girl. He's got a history of doing this. So he claims that he's making the music when in fact he's had help on it. He's a co-producer. That's how it goes.
Once he was fired, Shane Morris even said this following the disaster of the Astroworld Festival.
Travis Scott is the worst person I worked with in my entire career in music. 8 people are dead and hundreds more injured after Travis Scott's callous, reckless behavior at Astroworld. And I hate to be the one saying this, but I saw this coming and I tried to tell everyone.
Not only that, there was a rumor circling that Travis Scott allegedly left him all alone while suffering a seizure back in 2013.
The story that D-Dot is telling is true. I'm Travis Scott's former manager. I'm the one who had a seizure, and I'm the one that he left for dead in a basement in Los Angeles.
Here was Travis's reason for leaving him in that state. I can't have a manager who's shaking on the ground and shit, which is just crazy. But you know what's crazier? It's the fact that Travis Scott's whole come up might have been built on a lie. According to Shane, his numbers were artificially inflated right from the get-go, and here's how they did it.
The technology side of music. For Travis, what we did was fake his popularity. I programmed a fleet of SoundCloud bots to artificially inflate his play counts on SoundCloud. This told record label executives that he was much more popular than he actually was.
And it wasn't just with the SoundCloud listeners. They also claimed to do the exact same process for his Twitter followers.
We also did the same thing early on with Twitter. You may have noticed, and somebody made a joke about it, that his early followers could make an omelet because they were all eggs. We used software to enhance his visibility via the wrong means.
If proven true, this would be heartbreaking to a lot of Travis Scott fans around the world, but at least he created his own distinct style of hip-hop and never stole his sound from anyone, right? Well, that's also up for debate. Now, Travis Scott's a great artist, and getting the chance to work with him in the studio should be a dream for anyone involved, right? Well, according to sound engineers and producers that he's worked with throughout the years, it's an excruciating experience. One of the producers who had a particularly sour experience with Travis Scott is none other than T-Pain. At first, having 2 artists who specialize in melodies and autotune should have been an easy slam dunk, but because of Travis's horrible attitude, it only went south. It started out with T-Pain having to buy brand new speakers in his studio because according to Travis, he wanted the bass to punch much louder.
Loud enough for him to work with in the studio, so I had to order those speakers, and I gotta pay a daily rate on them speakers, and it's like $540 a day a piece for each speaker to be, because they need to be loud enough for him to work with.
And when it finally came to cooking up with Travis, it was only gonna get worse.
Move my mouse around on my computer, and then I turn around and I'm like, so everybody in the room dead sleep. Travis is somehow also asleep, standing up.
But in T-Pain's eyes, maybe he was just tired or particularly high that night, so they rescheduled the session as T-Pain waited for him the day later. Unfortunately for him, Travis Scott ended up ghosting him for the rest of the week while acting like nothing happened.
11, 12, 13, 14, he didn't show up. 15, he didn't show up. That's fine. 16, maybe he forgot. Can somebody call him? Nothing from Travis Scott's team. But I'll tell you what, Instagram, Twitter, everything, fully active, whole time.
And if he was out here treating someone like T-Pain this horribly, can you imagine how he treated unknown people who are trying to make a name for themselves?
Giant f***ing dick. But when he does show up, he walks straight into the room and he's all, who the fuck are you? What followed for the next 3 days was me trying to avoid this person as much as possible, because every interaction we had, he treated me and acted towards me as though he was disgusted with who I was as a person.
According to this engineer, he wasn't the only one who felt traumatized by Travis's lack of professionalism.
Every time one of my friends are like, oh man, yeah, like, who's the shittiest person you work with? I always tell them this story. And many times I get a response, yeah man, he was like that with me too.
But what about the other engineers? Were they the only ones who had grueling recording sessions? Well, here's what another one had to say.
Travis is intense. The time is intense. You're constantly like there's like 3 days when I was like, I have to go to bed. I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't have it in me. I just can't. I just like get up.
Staying awake for 3 days is wild. He later added that they had to work while Travis was sleeping so that the songs would be ready as soon as he woke up.
everybody's leaving. It's just like super intense. It's 24/7 because if he's asleep, the producers are awake and they want to tweak up the songs that he's already done, so they need you there.
Over the years, you'd think that Travis would tone down his antics and start rethinking his actions before doing them, but in 2024, he proved to everyone that he still hadn't learned his lesson. You see, here's what happened at a nightclub in New York on March 2nd of 2023.
That attack happening just before 3:30 this morning at Nebula nightclub on West 41st Street. The victim now being treated at a New Jersey hospital.
That's right. Travis saw the negative press he was getting for treating engineers horribly throughout his career, and instead of dialing it down, he went all the way and attacked one who was just doing his job.
I was trying to tell him to lower it so so it sounded good for the performance, but he just stuck his middle finger in my face. So I lowered the monitor a little bit so I could talk to him, and that's when he ran around the speaker and attacked me. Obviously my neck is up.
Your neck, your arm, what's happening with your arm?
My arm is tingling. I have pins and needles going down it.
A couple of fans argue that Travis had the right to keep the volume up as high as he wanted it. However, others weren't convinced. People who don't understand sound equipment and start running the gain hot on the tables can actually ruin tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. Sounds exactly like the kind of dick move Travis would make. And just as recently as June last year, Travis found himself in handcuffs in Miami Beach. He was arrested at the Miami Beach Marina and charged with disorderly intoxication and trespassing. Police responded just before 2 a.m. to reports of a fight breaking out on a yacht, and when the officers arrived, they saw Travis standing by the dock yelling at people. However, things got messy when he continued to ignore the officers' orders to sit down. He was initially warned to leave, but as he walked to the boardwalk, he continued to yell at the yacht's occupants. So everything could have been avoided. However, Travis returned 5 minutes later and resumed the disruption. According to authorities, Travis reeked of alcohol, and when they asked if he had been drinking, you wouldn't believe what Travis said. In a typical Travis response, he responded with, "It's Miami." Now, that's just wild. You're basically begging to get arrested at that point. And that's exactly what happened. Police decided to arrest him and booked him at around 4 a.m. Luckily for him, he posted a $650 bond and was released later that morning. Sadly though, Travis just refuses to learn his lesson. You see, just 2 months later, Travis was back at it again, but this time it was Paris. Back in August of 2024, Travis Scott was in Paris for the Olympic Games when things took a wild turn. Just right after watching the US versus Serbia basketball semifinal game, he walked back to his hotel only for him to end up in handcuffs once again. According to reports, Travis allegedly got into a heated argument with his own bodyguard inside the hotel, and when a security guard tried to intervene, things escalated even further. French prosecutors stated that Travis was arrested for violence against a security guard. According to reports, things got heated when Travis snapped at his security for allowing paparazzi and fans to bother him all week. They were screaming at each other, and the hotel freaked out and called the cops. However, another insider claimed that Travis was not in the right condition to be questioned straight away, so he was put in a cell where he's still sobering up. Fortunately for him, he was released the next day with no charges. So after all the lawsuits and scandals, it's no mystery why Travis Scott became one of the most hated names in hip-hop. The Astroworld tragedy and his beef with Pusha T might have been the boiling points, but it's sad to say that the red flags were always there.